All right, happy Tuesday, everybody. It looks like we're live on YouTube or X or, you know, Twitter or whatever it may be, and we've got our friends with us on Facebook Live as well. So we'll get cranky here on a Tuesday in the Arctic Air Studios. Hopefully your air is Arctic for the next few days. It is going to be hot. If not, you know what to do. Call the bear. Also brought to you in part tonight by McAlpin Chiropractic, a great Red Raider, ready to help you feel better. And, of course, The Reserve, a culinary tavern, 130 in Quaker. Hey, if you love the old Nick Sports Grill and Lounge, this is like 10 times better. And it's not even a sports bar, but you can watch sports there. I don't know. Call me crazy, Clark. It works out pretty well. You guys get in the early arrivals. You know what to do. It's real simple. Give us thumbs up. Give us hearts. Let us know the audio is good. The video is good. Then we get on down the road. It's Two-Word Tuesday. We're looking at Jones Stadium today as the renovations continue. We'll ask you, who should be in the college football playoff? They're going to debate that here at the end of the month. What about those automatic qualifiers? Pac-12, if it exists, should they get in? A new AAC, a Mountain West. Who should really be in the 12-team field? And then every Tuesday, best thing I ever ate. Today, chips, salsa, queso. I mean, it's Taco Tuesday, so why not have some chips, queso, and taco? At Tip Cooking Channel, great show. I have some pretty weak product placement right there. Hold on. There we go. That's much better. The talking box is on. Indeed, it is. Now, what are we going to do with it? I don't know. That's up to you guys. We'll go as long as the conversation is good tonight, as long as we find it interesting and have good back and forth with you on the text line. If you're watching on Twitter, X, or YouTube, use the text line 806-772-0197. Easy to transact that, just like the old radio show. Let's go in 3, in 2. Good evening, West Texans, all you good, fine, friendly folks out there who wish you were. I'm Ryan Hyatt, TheRaiderland.com, the website. Start your day every day there. Check out our Raiderland hot links. Cool stuff we post up there. We kind of like it. We think you might kind of like it. And if you see stuff you think everybody else might like, hit us in the comment section. Post a link we might include in the next day's run. We give you your question of the day, all of it, and, of course, this archived along with other original content at TheRaiderland.com. We're coming to you from the Arctic Air Studios tonight. It's going to be 104 degrees on Thursday. How do I know this? Oh, I was watching the weather. And then, it's got a high school scrimmage Thursday night, so why would it not be 104 degrees? There you go. Don't know why she's barking. Did she get her supper? No one has been fed around this house. No animals, no people. Nobody has eaten to my knowledge at this time, either in the Arctic Air Studios or otherwise. Michael is watching. So, yeah, check it out every day. TheRaiderland.com. As we mentioned, brought to you by McAlpin Chiropractic. Texas Tech has trusted him with high-level track and field athletes for years, decades now. Got to give him a holler. If you need a chiropractor, we suggest getting one of the best in the Hubaplex, and that's Kevin McAlpin. And, of course, we mentioned it, The Reserve, great brunch, Saturday, Sunday. It's no hangover. It's a bunch of tater tots with chili. What more do you need? I mean, there are people getting all these fancy souffles and egg this and that. Tater tots, chili, cheese. Thank you. That's all you need to know. I mean, they've got a regular menu, too. It's really good. Doughboy checking in on the text line today, 806-772-0197. Is in the 806 up north in Amarillo today. Shout out Guns Up Trucking. If you see them on the road, give them the Guns Up Trucking out there. The official truck driver of Raiderland. All right, Two-Word Tuesday. We give you the topic. You give us 2 words. Today's topic, Jones Stadium. As the renovation continues, as the upgrades continue, as we've seen it go from what it was in the 1990s where the press box looked like a double wide on stilts, no luxury anything, to what it is today. How would you describe Jones Stadium? 2 words, and then you can continue on. What do you think the final capacity needs to be? It will be over 60 no matter what. The current plans call for a reduction in capacity a little bit. I think no matter what the actual city is, because they've got that open area now in the south, and they'll just say, that 5,000 people can stand there. The capacity is 62,347. It'll be over 60. Don't worry. That's what they'll put it at. So that's the Two-Word Tuesday topic today. Just thoughts in general. Jones Stadium, it is turning into one of the show places of the Southwest, one of the great college football palaces. Best chips and salsa, best chips, hot sauce, all time, otherwise, anywhere. Currently, that is the food topic today. And then we find out on Tuesdays, because it was determined by this audience here very recently, that Tuesday is an underrated day of the week. An underrated day of the week. So what's underrated? Every week we give you what's underrated. Like last night, my man Matt Humans, Wes Reynolds there on VSiN, they were visiting with Jimmy Vaccaro, and he's from Pittsburgh, and somehow the movie Fish That Saved Pittsburgh came up. A great movie, a highly underrated 1970s basketball movie, Moses Guthrie, played by one Dr. J. It is, and if you want to go back in the past and see the future, when the team changes their name to the Pittsburgh Pisces and the way they paint the court, then it was mind-blowing. Today, you look at it and go, oh, yeah, that court's in the Mountain West Conference. I'm pretty sure that's an actual court. They saw the future in the movie, The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh. I can still remember being a kid. They were filming the movie in the late 70s, and the Amarillo Globe-News had a picture of Dr. J on the set of the movie, and I remember seeing that, go, I have got to see this. If it's got Dr. J. See, for a certain generation of us, Dr. J was Michael Jordan without a shoe company behind him. Then Michael Jordan was a poor man's Dr. J. For some of us, Michael Jordan will always be behind Dr. J. So you can tell us today what's underrated: best chips, hot sauce, salsa, all time currently or otherwise. Jones Stadium is for Tuesday, 2-word Tuesday deal. Give us 2 words to describe it if you want to. And what else tonight? Yeah, college football playoff. They're meeting on the 30th to decide who should be in now. Greg Sankey says maybe we need to rethink some of these automatic bids since we just lost a conference. Not a bad idea, Greg. All right. Randy says the best chips are from United Market Street, followed by Uncle Julio's. They do a nice job. Their chips are really good. My wife didn't like them only because they're too salty, so I have to get them and put them on the side and hide them and stuff. Danny says best chips and salsa, Fresco's and Burleson. Best queso used to be the Don Pablo's when it existed. Now, sadly, no longer in existence. Texts are on the text line 806-772-0197. Jones Stadium should have upgrades that included suites in between the lower bowl and the upper bowl, similar to what most stadiums have. The problem they can't do that is because of the way the stadium was originally retrofitted in the late 50s and 1960. When they put the east side stands on tracks and lowered the bowl, that, as I understand it, architecturally, it's just really not a very good idea to try to come back and do what you're talking about because of the way that was done all those years ago. That the best way to do it was the way they've done it. They've gone up with them. They've ringed it around. They'll continue to do that. If you go back and look, when Texas Tech was getting into the Southwest Conference, there are some renderings, and you can see them. The Southwest Collection has them. So we go back to DeWitt Weaver, and we go back to him having been at Tennessee and a lot of Tennessee influence. And if you look at some of the architectural drawings from how they were looking at taking the expansion of Jones Stadium from the original 1947 configuration to upgrading to where they'd be 45,000 seats or more so they could be in the Southwest Conference, there's one where they don't bowl, they don't go down, they go up. And if you look at it, you look at the drawing, it is Neyland Stadium. It is Tennessee's stadium to a T, not a double T, to a T, to the point that in the painting, in the rendering, in the architectural drawing, the end zones have the checkerboard end zone, which was not alone to Tennessee, but most famous for Tennessee. It's pretty interesting. You can find it online. I might be able to link to it in the hot link section tomorrow. Air doctors, yes, Doc Airs. Why not? Alan's watching. Are you watching? Chris says if Dr. J was born 10 years later, we'd all be wearing Air J's. Yep, 100%. Doughboy, text me on the text line 806-770-197. I need one of them mugs. I guess my live chat isn't going through. No, we can only see, this is a good reminder, we cannot see anyone on Twitter and the YouTube if you're chatting on the live chat. We only see you through the text line when you're using that app. As third-party streaming allows us to do multiple platforms. The best way to get through is to use the text line if you're on Twitter, X, or and when we say X now, I guess we're all doing drugs, right? There you go. And YouTube. Facebook Live, you can use your normal thing, but that's why the text line is there for everybody else because we cannot see in real time your comments. 806-772-0197. Best chips and salsa. That's our food topic today, anywhere, all time, or otherwise. Jones Stadium, 2-word Tuesday. Give us 2 words to describe it if you can. And then we have who should be in the college football playoff if you want to. And what's underrated? Fish that say Pittsburgh, underrated. What's underrated in your world today? Got to back up. Let's see. Alan, yes to chips and salsa, no to the Big Ten, the SEC controlling the playoff. Well, yeah, yes to chips and salsa, but who's got the best? And the corporation will control it. The corporation will be made up of the Big 12, the Big 10, and the SEC, and to a lesser extent, the ACC. And that's who will control the LLC that controls the playoff. Let's see. I got to scroll back up. We just need a river next to Jones and Neyland of the West Texas. That's right, the West Texas Navy. Be ready there. Did you ever get to see a game at Jones Stadium when it had natural grass? No, they put in natural grass the year after I was born. So 1970 was the first year that Jones Stadium had AstroTurf, which that was a big deal too. Many schools around the country, their first seasons to put in AstroTurf were the 1970 seasons. The problem that Tech ran into with the natural grass field was that the water table, when they dug down, part of the excavation, the water table was right there, and it really played hell during the 1960s on that field. It was a hell of a mess, and by the end of the year, it looked horrible. It was just a sloggy mess. And the AstroTurf actually turned out to be better, that they could put basically a permanent flooring level on it, pump it away from that. They had some problems in the early 70s, and this was not unusual for AstroTurf fields with some rot and a little bit of fungus, but they figured out, I think, by the time the mid 70s rolled around and they were starting to do some of these again, that it wasn't so bad. Let's see. Time for TCU. Isn't it time for TCU to upgrade or build a new stadium? Stadium gives a whole new meaning to nosebleed seats. They retrofitted theirs within the last 15 years or so. I can't remember for sure when Amon G. Carter was completely retrofitted. I want to say it was in the late 2000, mid to late 2000s or so, somewhere in through there. I saw Guns Up Trucking about a month ago in Meta. Cool. Will we have the best stadium once the UTers and the OUers leave? It'll be one of the larger stadiums. Obviously, what they have there in Stillwater is very nice. They did some good retrofits on that. BYU Stadium is nice. Sun Devil Stadium has been retrofitted. I mean, it's going to be one of the better ones. It'll be right in there. It doesn't look like a giant toilet lid like Waco, so that's good. It's underrated Tuesday. You tell us what is underrated. Danny says underrated San Angelo band Los Lonely Boys. Los Lonely Boys. Underrated. Cassie watching today. Alan, BYU has the best Big 12 stadium. Jones Stadium needs a facelift on the inside, which is now happening. Hard to beat the view in Provo. Yeah. Texter off the text line, 806-772-0197. That's what you guys use if you're on Twitter or YouTube. How far can Doughboy go on a full tank of diesel? There you go. Yeah, Doughboy said you were spotted. They said you were spotted in Meadow. In Meta. That's the rumor, anyways. I don't know. I can't confirm or deny that. Yeah, Provo's going to kind of win all the views right now in the new Big 12. They've got it going on right there with it. If you've seen a view from behind home plate at a baseball stadium, I want to go work a series there. I'll tell Haxton he can take the weekend off. I'll go work that series up there whenever Tech gets to play baseball up there. It's just beautiful. Doughboy reports in that Guns Up Trucking can go 1,200 miles. 1,200 miles. And he says, nope, that was not him. He was not in Meadow. He has not been in Meadow in years. David says, I've seen Tech play on grass in the 60s, but I'm old. Well, were you, perhaps I misunderstood the question. Were you on grass? Was the game played on natural grass? Because now that we're bringing in the 60s, some people could have been on grass watching Texas Tech play. Doughboy, and I've got one of the hats, and I can't reach it right now. The logo of the state of Texas with guns, G-U-N-Z up, trucking in the middle, in case you were wondering. It's a cool-looking truck. All right, we'll go a little longer today. I hadn't planned on hanging out too long today, but as long as the conversation is good, we'll hang out with you. Danny, on grass, watching Tech play on grass. Now, then, when, what? Passing the grass by the double T. I do miss that. I wish out of all the progress that they could have maintained that grass end zone where the kids ran rampant. It was like a junior high in age, younger Woodstock going on out there. And this was even after, they put the concrete retaining wall down at the bottom back in the 60s. The Mass Rider could build up a head of steam going up that west side, bank off the grass on the north, and come shooting down on the east side. So I miss that. I wish they'd been able to maintain that. Randy says we need to schedule BYU games late in the season and get some runs. Yeah. Be a good skiing package that they could put together. Yeah, fighting for the extra point or the field goal ball that would go up in there pre-net days and everything. Yeah, back in the day, pre-concrete retaining wall in the 60s. That wall was put in, I believe, when they put the turf in. I think that is when that wall ended up going up, 70, 71, right in through there. Best way to do it would be go back and look at the Coaches All-American game after the tornado and see if it's there, and I think it is. The Hogs would bring their pig in a trailer. Yeah, well, they had to have something to eat. Oh, wow. And Guns Up Trucking reports Doughboy says he has another big rig on order. Picks coming soon. We'll put that in the hot link section. You guys, hope you're liking what we're putting together every day there at theraiderland.com. 10, 20, whatever strikes my fancy of stuff that we've seen during the day that we think you guys might enjoy, easy to miss stuff. So you can check that out at theraiderland.com every day. Question of the day, waiting for you there. And then a lot of cool stuff that I think you'll enjoy. So if you have a mind to, feel free to check it out every day. And again, you can always add to it in the comments section. Post your own cool stuff. We'll link it up the next day. Yeah, Baylor would bring their bear, get crazy drunk in a cage on Dr. Pepper. Was the Jones field turf or carpet, or wasn't it carpet or carpet-like in the 80s? It was Monsanto AstroTurf in the 1970s. It remained AstroTurf until 1988 or so, and they put in some first-gen field turf, or what we would call field turf now. Much better. The old one had a grain to it. You'd run one way and it would grab your shoes and you couldn't move. You run the other way and it was like an ice rink. The next one was much more even. Hell, the old one actually had a crown on it. I was on that field a couple of times in the mid 80s, and it was weird. Let's see, all this talk about hot links making me hungry. Absolutely. That's what we want. Yeah. We can discuss. I don't know. I threw it out there. Yo, Michael, how you doing? I just kind of threw it out there because it's going to be big news over the next couple of days. We'll get into it maybe more as the week rolls on. But the idea of who's going to be allowed into the college football playoff with an automatic qualifier, I'm hoping all of this speeds up the move to 16 instead of 12. and we'll see what happens. Yeah, 2.5 feet of crown, scratchy turf until it's replaced with the field turf, field stirred. They put down. I lost track of when 88 lasted about 10 years. So in the late 90s, early 2000, maybe it was when Leach came in that they replaced turf on that one. I know you may have had it right on that. Aloha, Ava. Glad to see you out there. That's what you don't know. If you're watching us, we're watching you too. Gary's hanging out with us in the final few minutes of the show today. You guys can text in if you're on Twitter X or YouTube channel. Best way to get in on the text line, 806-772-0197. Little Jones Stadium discussion tonight. We're talking about best chips and salsa / queso. Hat Tip Cooking Channel, best thing ever ate. Great show. Every Tuesday we talk a little food in Raiderland. Field turf was Philly's Memorial Stadium. Boy, the vet, the old vet is what you're talking about. Yeah, the vet in Philly was just brutal. Those squares cut out the baseball infield, horrible. Torian was on the last Astros scratchy turf, so mid 2000s on that replacement. I think they may have actually an update on that in the media guide. A lot of concrete there. A lot of concrete everywhere. The world's been taken over by concrete. You have some of the last scratchy turf in your garage. I had and I don't know where it is, man. It's lost to history somewhere. My dad one year came back from coaching school in the mid 70s with samples of AstroTurf, little square cutouts, about maybe a foot long and I don't know, 6 inches wide or whatever. And they were given away at coaching school, these things. It was the composite AstroTurf all the way down to the padding and everything else. And man, I thought that was the coolest thing. I got AstroTurf from my bedroom, man. This is awesome stuff. But that was, it was, when I was on it in the 80s, it was pretty bad. I had a scrape on my arm that lasted probably 15, maybe 20 years after high school that you could still see where some of that got in there, got infected or something for a little while. I mean, it scraped all your skin off. I mean, that's why guys back in the day would wear all sorts of crap all over their arm. The padding for the helmets, no, it was the padding for the field. And 99 in spikes last year. Separates from the men from the boys. Play on sand. I want to play on sand, Daddy. I don't want to do that. Let's see. James says, my dad was at the very last 25-cent beer night for veterans at Vet Stadium in the 70s. God, that sounds like a horrible idea. It's nickel beer and handgun night here at the Vet. Come on out. The first 5,000 with a handgun admitted free, and it's nickel beer all night long. Welcome to Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love. And if you see a sumbitch out of New York City, just shoot him in the ass. Welcome to Philadelphia. Nickel beer and handgun night for all of our veterans. Welcome back, and sorry about Vietnam. Last thing Philly fans needed was cheaper beer, yeah. I mean, they threw batteries at Santa Claus. They actually did throw batteries, unlike Texas Tech fans who have that claim to fame these days. That's exactly how he explained it. Yeah, there you go. That's pretty much how it was. You can text in on the text line if you're watching on Twitter or on YouTube, 806-772-0197. That's how we see your comments. Can't see them in real time. We're on multiple platforms, so we kind of funnel everything into one thing so we make sure we see it. And it's right there on the screen. I mean, there's a big thing on the screen that says text line, 806-772-0197. It's not that hard to figure out. I got to say this every day. Do I got to do that, Joe? I got to do it, Joe. All right. Okay, if I got to say it every day, I'll say it every day, Joe. Best chips, salsa, late 80s, early 90s, Josie's. Best chips and salsa. About as good as you could get anywhere in town. At different times, don't laugh, Chili's. Chili's. Good chips and salsa. Those thin, crispy ones, they walk that fine line of greasy to not too greasy. Such a delicate line. And a chip that is really good for salsa like that can't handle the queso. The chili chip can handle the queso. It's great with the salsa. The original Miz in Dallas, over there off of Lemon, was just almost life-changing. Chips and queso. Then Matt's El Rancho in Austin. Matt's El Rancho has the queso. They claim to be the ones who first started putting beef and a couple of different things into their queso. I don't believe it. The queso from Leal's in Plainview or Mulliso is great. Yeah, Leal's is good stuff. Dogs are going to go nuts in about 2 minutes. Looks like we're out of here in about 2 minutes. Huh, interesting. Wonder why they're going to go nuts. Tech is tighter security than any other Big 12 stadium. Our blue shirts are nastier than your blue shirts. Yeah, Tech does lead the league in brightly colored vest, armed guards, security. You can't go there. There is a significant presence of authority when you go to Jones Stadium, one way or the other. For all we know, the capacity could be 70,000, 10,000 if it's taken up by security personnel. Oh, well. Is it still staffed by Gary Bourne's bunch? I don't know. What a deal that is. Oh, now I know what they meant. You know, son's rolling up in his truck. Fuzzy pink dice hanging from the rearview mirror. It's a good look. Every now and then I drive his truck, and the first thing I do is I take the fuzzy pink dice down. It's a visual hazard is what it is. Mamaritas has great queso. Mamaritas also gets credit for the salsa bar, for the multiple different salsas. They're all really good, you know? They're all quality. You know, a bucket of beers. First place I ever had a bucket of beers. Hold on. I can get a bucket and you're going to put beers in it? Huh. This is a great idea. This is America. This is how this is how the Berlin Wall came down. Ponchos. I don't even remember Ponchos having salsa. I know they did. I don't remember anything about their salsa. I thought the Bourne shirts were yellow. Yeah, they're yellow. They're blue. They're it's a rainbow of shirts. Is the sun truck worthy of AC yet? Yeah, he got air conditioning in that thing. Change the dice to a dog bobblehead. You're gonna the Hawaiian dancing girl. Set it on there. There they go, right on cue. Pretty good. All right, final thoughts before we get out of here tonight. You can text in 806-772-0197. Tomorrow, Bandwagon Wednesday, so get ready to tell us the bandwagons you're on, you're off. You can go to the website, theraiderland.com, and you can still hit us on today's post. If you've got some really cool videos, really cool Twitter links, stories, anything that you want us to include in Raiderland Hot Links tomorrow, please do that. I'm having a lot of fun putting that together, throwing it out there every day. You guys are fantastic. Appreciate you being out there. Share this, help us continue to grow Raiderland, and just get even more people in here. Thanks to all of our wonderful sponsors. If you see them on the street, tell them we said thanks. All right, we say goodbye first up to the people on Twitter and on YouTube. Do we end the broadcast? Yes.